Good morning and thanks for joining us here on Vanguard Live. I am Rolake Ademiju. We begin with Vanguard on the paper review this morning as the major leading story says a special report, how modern life is rendering men infertile. Sperm counts drop 62.3% worldwide over 50 years. Testosterone level also dropping. Plastic, environmental toxin waging war on male fertility. Human race not winning infertility battle despite advancement. Lifestyle, climate change are major drivers. Crucial role of sperm DNA fragmentation, DFI. There is open advanced reproductive treatment. Page 14 asks the story. River local government poll. Lifestyle gets voters registered, insist on August 30 date. Mark to Nigerian. Give ADC a chance to prove what? Page 9 has the story. Democracy. Don't undermine opposition parties. SMBLF caution APC and INEC. Economy now stable under Tinubu, says OKONJO-IWEALA. Boko Haram. US okayed $346 million arms sales to Nigeria. And on sports page, FIBA World Ranking. The Tigers move up 3 steps, now in top 10. And above the banner says states have received 7.1 trillion naira under current administration, says Edu. Ibom Air fracas. Airline operators lift life ban on Emmanson. NLC issued 7-day strike notice over pension, NSITF funds. And lastly on the Vanguard newspaper, by-election, tension as INEC delivers sensitive materials. You can find that story on page 22 of the Vanguard newspaper. The Guardian leading story says, party jostles for 16 seats as crucial by-election set stage for 2027. NLC to picket NSITF, PENCOM over alleged diversion of funds. Political parties to boycott River local government election. Page 29 has the story. Economy now stable under Tinubu, says OKONJO-IWEALA. Federal government budget fresh 3.8 trillion naira for 3rd million bridge repair. And lastly on the Guardian newspaper, insecurity cost Nigeria 7.17 trillion naira, wipes out 40% of livestock, report states. Can find that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Away from Vanguard straight into the Punch as the major leading story says, pension funds, strike countdown begins as PENCOM, Labour disagree. PENCOM reacts, NSITF silent as Labour issued 7-day strike notice over alleged 40% pension fund diversion. Page 21 asks the story. OKONJO-IWEALA's positive outlook on economic sparks political debate. Federal government settled 2 trillion naira contractor bills, plans 2025 capital budget spending. Government eye $4.5 billion oil production savings. And lastly on the Punch newspaper, Tambo fights back over 189 billion naira EFCC probe. You can find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, the Nation is leading with OKONJO-IWEALA gives Tinubu credit for stabilizing economy. Stability open door for investment, says Edu. First Lady Lord's WTO DJs $50 million women fund. Kwara monarch to indices of community attacked by terrorists. Come home. Page 6 asks the story. Obi endorses ADC candidates in by-election. No Labour Party standard bearer. And lastly on the Nation newspaper, inflation drops for 4th consecutive time. Forex, food push rates down. Can find that story on the page 7 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have for the headlines of the dailies. Join us after the short break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I am Rolake Ademiju. Now let's move into our first story of the day. Economy now stable under Tinubu, OKONJO-IWEALA says. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday met behind closed door with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa. She commended the administration of President Tinubu for the reforms that are restoring stability to Nigerians' economy. Okonjo-IWEALA, who described the meeting as very good, said the president was gracious to receive her shortly after she joined First Lady Senator Tinubu to launch a Women Exporters Fund earlier in the day. The fund, jointly managed by the WTO and the International Trade Center in Geneva, is aimed at helping Nigerian women entrepreneurs grow their businesses, create jobs, and boost household incomes in the digital economy. Nigeria competed and emerged as one of only 4 countries globally selected for this new program, she said. Out of 67,000 Nigerian women who applied, 146 were chosen as beneficiaries. This is just the beginning, Okonjo-IWEALA says, stressing the program's potential to expand Nigeria's economic base and empower women. On the economy, the WTO boss, who was the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy under President Goodluck Jonathan, credited the Tinubu administration with achieving stability and a necessary foundation for growth. Now let's dive into our second story of the day. Ibom Air fracas. Airline operator lifts life ban on Emmanson. Airline operator Nigeria yesterday lifted the lifetime ban earlier imposed on Ms. Comfort Emmanson over her unruly behavior aboard Ibom Air flight from Uyo to Lagos on August 10, 2025. AON spokesperson Professor Obiora Okonkwo said the decision to lift the ban on Ms. Emmanson followed the intervention of the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, who appealed for clemency. According to him, having considered all the circumstances of the matter, including a reported remorse, the withdrawal of the complaint, the striking out of the charges, and a release from custody, our members resolved to lift the ban. This is in the spirit of drawing a line under the matter while maintaining our commitment to safety and order. Meanwhile, Mr. Ogede, who was seated next to Emmanson, yesterday claimed she was triggered by an air hostess before temper flared. Ogede, a lawyer speaking on Channel's TV program, The Morning Brief, said he saw and heard everything from his seat, 14B, directly across the aisle from Emmanson. According to Ogede, Emmanson explained that her phone power button was faulty and asked for help, but the hostess refused to touch the device, instead instructing her to navigate the phone settings. She told her, "Go to settings, go to general," and when the lady said she could not understand, the hostess replied, "I don't have time for your nonsense," he alleged. At that point, Ogede stated that another passenger intervened, asking the hostess to change her tone, but she ignored them. Ogede claimed that when Emmanson asked why she was being embarrassed, the hostess threatened, "If you say another word, I will deal with you." He said that was when Emmanson reacted angrily, using strong language. The hostess then left and never returned. The gentleman beside her eventually helped switch off her phone. Some passenger thought she had refused to comply, but that wasn't the case. She had been trying but needed help, Ogede said. Ogede maintained that the situation could have been avoided if handled by the first, more professional hostess. Now let's end it on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. Mrs. is speaking first and she says, "Most men are chauvinist by their action and body language." And Mr. replied, "If I think of how my mother breastfed me for 2 years and I return to the same spot as an adult with my wife, I can never be a chauvinist." So this is where we ended today's program. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms displayed on our screen. And you can also visit us for more interesting stories at www.vanguardnigeria.com. My name is Marolake Ademiju. Have a lovely weekend.